Hi everyone, this is our week 13.2 lecture for week 13. I don't know if I said that yet or not. I'm tired. Um, just a little note, I have moved to a different location for this recording. You may hear my cats running around and playing. I'll try to talk over them as much as possible. Funny anecdote, I didn't realize our window was open earlier, so I was giving my lecture to our apartment complex as well. So, little funny. Anyway, this lecture is going to be relatively short. I am covering the chapter in our textbook entitled Writing in Multiple Modes, and this is the first part. I'm just going over 3 different modes with this lecture, and I'll cover the next 3 in a lecture next week. All right, I am kind of throwing a lot of videos at you and information this week, so I wanted to keep it a little bit more concise. Okay, so I did talk about multimodal writing last year in my 101 class, but I do realize not all of you had me last year, not all of you had the same instructors. So I'm just going to give you, oh my goodness, I don't know what my cats are doing. They're acting crazy. It's always when I'm doing something too that they act crazy. Okay, multimodal writing encompasses texts that use more than words in order to convey a message. All right, they can draw on moving images, sounds, and more to make their point. Okay, and there are 5 different modes that you can use in your own writing. All right, there's the linguistic, the visual, audio, gestural, and spatial. So linguistic is probably the one that we're most familiar with. That means words, okay, written or spoken. And then you've got your visual. That's your use of colors, fonts, pictures, that kind of thing. Audio includes voiceovers and music. Gestural refers to body language and facial expressions. And spatial, and that's the way the elements are arranged on a page or a screen. Okay, so it can be, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. It can be referring to a physical document, right, that you would print out and see physically, or something on your screen, like a website or a blog, something like that. So in general, most documents primarily rely on linguistic and visual, all right? However, some can be a lot more complex and encompass all 5 modes. There was this really excellent video I showed last year. It's like a music video to Adele's Rolling in the Deep, and it includes all 5 modes, all right? Linguistic, visual, audio, gestural, and spatial. And I thought it was really well done. And if you're interested, I believe it was Zion was the organization that produced it. It's Zion Rolling in the Deep. Really good video. You should watch it if you have an extra moment. It's just really cool. And I hope my 101 students thought it was cool because I thought it was cool. Okay, so that's just the lowdown on multimodal writing. So when I talk about multimodal, if I say something is multimodal, what I mean is that it is using different techniques, right, to convey a message. It's going beyond just the written word, okay? All right. So I'm going to go into 3 different examples of multimodal projects. You can use these examples to create your own digital project for our final project of the semester. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I just want to give you these examples to work with if you're interested. Okay, so illustrated essays, I feel like it's very self-explanatory, and it's also one of the simplest examples of a multimodal project, all right? Essentially, It's an academic essay, except you're including visuals. You're including some kind of picture of some sort. I believe the example used in the textbook was a student analyzing different video games, I believe it was, and they included images there. My own example here is video game covers, including images of covers that they're writing about. Okay, you can also include graphs in order to convey a point. What else is there? I can't think of anything right now, but there are plenty of examples in your textbook. If you do choose to incorporate images into your essays, you do need to keep the following in mind. Do make sure that it communicates a message. So never include images in an essay just to fill up the page, right? Or as decoration. It should always serve some kind of purpose. So you do want to carefully incorporate them throughout your essay. You need to be purposeful with that. So maybe if you get to the point in your essay where you are referring to the image, make sure the image is on the same page or pretty close, okay? You also want to give each image or figure an a number. I'm sorry. So give each image a figure or illustration number in addition to an appropriate caption. Okay. And finally, and this is the most important part, if you did not create something yourself, meaning if you did not create the graph yourself, if you did not take the photo yourself, you do need to make sure that you are correctly citing it, okay? That is part of correct citation etiquette, all right? That's what you need to be doing. Ooh, we're doing this again. It's lagging. I don't want to click it again because I'm afraid it'll, okay, there we go. Blogs, this is another popular form and one that you're probably also familiar with. A blog, a web blog, it's typically a place where individuals or groups can share information, ideas, reflections, arguments, and more. Some blogs only focus on one topic, such as cooking or art or beauty or fashion, knitting, sports, wellness, the list goes on and on. There's blogs for everything out there. But others, such as larger news sites, might feature a wider variety of topics. And I have examples coming soon. Okay, so some tips for blogs. They are not the same thing as essays, okay? If you're writing a blog post, it's just not the same thing, okay? So typically blogs they're brief and they're to the point, and this means you're including shorter sentences and paragraphs. The idea when you're writing a blog is you're creating scannable documents, okay? Because typically when somebody's reading a blog, they are scanning it. They're speed reading, right, to get the information they need, and then they're going to move on, okay? So when you're writing a blog, you don't want to include these huge blocks of text. You don't want to include huge blocks of text. You might want to include headings, play with the font a little bit, and make it as easy to read as possible. It also employs a more informal or conversational tone, okay? Might also include lists or bullet points and clearly defined headings, like I mentioned before. Images and videos are often included, okay? And then also when you're citing sources within a blog post, you'll typically link to the source, okay? So you'll create like a hyperlink and that links to your source. And then it also often includes like an eye-catching or compelling title. Give it like 2 seconds, guys, and it will go to the next screen, I promise. Okay, so here are some examples of blogs. The most familiar one, and I've had you guys work with this, I think, a couple of times when we were still meeting on campus, the Everyone's an Author blog on Tumblr. You also have the Huffington Post, and we've got this wonderful political message right here. And that's my cat. I wonder if you guys can hear him. He's being very loud. Okay, so this is the Huffington Post, and this is an example of a kind of site that includes multiple topics. All right, so up here they've got news, coronavirus, politics, 2020 elections, entertainment, life, personal, video, shopping. Okay, so there's a wide range of topics included, all right, on this larger blog. And if you scroll through here, pretty short paragraphs, okay, and then you've got your bolded text. Oh, this is an interview, it looks like. Yeah, it's an interview. Just kidding. So this isn't really, I mean, it's a blog, but it's an interview, and that has its own, I love the Huffington Post. It has so many ads. Sarcasm. I'm trying to find a good example of a blog for you guys. Okay, so something like this, all right? You've got your very short sentences and your very short paragraphs, okay? And then it's broken up by images, okay? Images. This is actually a very sad blog, so I wouldn't recommend you guys to read this, okay? So let's get out of here real fast. I think you get the point though, okay? And pinch of yum, here's a good one. This is a cooking blog, all right? And this is an example of a blog that focuses only on one topic, all right? So cooking, making meals. And especially on cooking blogs, you'll notice that they have a very relaxed tone, very conversational. And here they link to other pages. They've got these gorgeous images of this delicious food, okay? So as I hope you're seeing, oh, and they even have a video, okay? They have a video. So as I hope you're seeing here, blogs have some very distinctive features that you should be following if you decide to create your own blog. Okay, Wikis. So I think we are all familiar with Wikipedia, all right? Wikis are collaborative websites that provide information on a range of topics. Wikipedia, that's the biggest one, okay? It's important to note that Wikipedia can be edited by almost anyone. So if you are drawing from Wikis as a source, you do need to make sure that they're credible, and you need to be fact-checking things, all right? Wikis can also be developed for certain communities. I think WebMD might be considered a wiki. I'm pretty sure WebMD is a wiki. I know UNR has wikis for its students. So if any of you have ever turned to the library's help pages, especially on citations, those could be considered wikis. I know gamers have their own sort of wiki for like walkthrough tutorials and stuff like that. And then of course you have the most popular one, Wikipedia, and that's for the general public. Moving on to the next slide. Any day. Okay, so if you are ever contributing to a wiki, or maybe you're creating one yourself, it's always important to make sure that the information you are including is accurate and it's from a credible and reliable source. There are often rules made for contributors on wikis along the lines of make sure you are being respectful, okay, in your contributions, okay? And then it is also important to remember that the audience of wikis are often very broad, so make sure you're adjusting the tone of your writing accordingly. Do add links, references, and citations, and also make sure links are working and not broken. And we kind of did this as part of one of our in-class assignments a long time ago, where I had you guys checking the sources on your websites, okay, and making sure, or for your research, all right, and making sure those links work, because that's one of the signs that a source might not be reliable, is if their links are broken, okay? Okay, next class, we will be looking at audio essays, video essays, and posters. So we'll be wrapping up our multimodal lecture. And then we'll be moving on to writing and rhetoric in the workplace. This is my favorite thing to talk about, is working at a job, right? And adjusting your writing accordingly. And then just a very brief lecture on making presentations. It's a useful skill to have. Finally, I need you guys to be continuing work on Project 4 and also make sure you're completing the free write activity for this week. It's due on Sunday. Okay? All right, I will see you guys in the next lecture. And please do let me know if you have any questions. All right, see you or talk to you soon.